With online media being people's new go-to source for news, we're noticing the increasingly concerning trend of headline culture.
Whether it's a personal profile, a news organization, or an online magazine or blog, the current trend is to write the most visceral headline possible, something that will make people click. And as I'm sure you know, this trend seems to work.
Where we get concerned is when people are scrolling by and are only reading the headlines, because let's face it, sometimes the headline and the content that follows isn't always related.
And that's what we wanted to talk to you about today, specifically with a real estate lens. As I'm sure you can imagine, being in the industry, the information that we read as agents, brokers, investors, real estate junkies could be interpreted differently than you, the everyday consumer, might interpret it. And this brings us to the meat and potatoes of today's video, how you can better consume online content without falling victim to headline culture.
Number one, the headline isn't the article. And this one's number one because it's probably most common. People read the headline, and whether they know it or not, they're creating biases without actually diving deeper. Remember one thing above all. Headlines are just there to drive clicks. They are not summaries of the contents within the article. If you scroll past something that concerns you or gives you a visceral feeling, I think first and foremost, the wise thing to do is to go ahead and actually read the article or watch the video, because you may find that it actually doesn't apply to you at all. So before you decide whether or not something actually has merit, look at more than just the headline. Make sure you're diving right in.
Number two, take everything you read online with a grain of salt. One of the things the internet has done is equalize the opportunity for individuals to display content to the public. Prior to the internet being our main source of news, experts were actually carefully curated before being given a large platform to share their opinions. Now things are different. Anyone with an internet connection can post an article or a video that, if it catches fire, is actually being looked upon with the same validity as though it were written or posted by a true industry leader. I mean, how many times have we seen it in the past few weeks? The market is crashing, highest interest rate increase in over 20 years. The Bank of Canada is strangling the real estate market. Just remember, not all online content was created equal. If you're going to consume the info, make sure you actually understand where that information's coming from. And if you have questions and are unsure, make sure you're speaking to someone in the industry, a trusted professional who can share their opinions as well.
Number three, make sure you have a basic understanding of what stats are being referred to. This is especially true in the real estate industry. When people see sales are down 10%, what do they think? For some, they may be inclined to think that prices are down 10%, when in reality, the article is referring to transactions being down 10% from a record-breaking year. Or maybe you're reading an article from the comfort of your home in Whitby, but the source of the statistics is the Canadian Real Estate Association, which is just far too broad of a scope to understand what's happening in your local market, which actually brings us very nicely into point number 4.
The difference between the market and your market. People love to talk about the real estate market, but what does it really mean? Are we talking about the Toronto condo market? Are we talking about recreational properties? Are we talking about being an investor and owning 3 duplexes in Oshawa? And if so, am I concerned with the numbers coming out of Whistler, BC? It sounds silly, but it's very easy to assume that the content that you're consuming is relative to you, when in reality, it might not be at all. Knowing the source of the data and how it applies to you in your particular market is crucial, even in what you might consider to be the same market. For example, in Durham, the condo market and the freehold property market might be performing totally different. So all of this is to say that even though the real estate market is being referenced, it might have no impact on your particular market.
Number 5, building your team. Okay, let's take things offline for a second. Having a team behind you is so important. And if you're thinking, what are you talking about? What team? I'm talking about a team of trusted professionals who you can turn to if you have any questions. A lawyer, a mortgage agent, a real estate broker. If you see concerning content online, run it by them first. And if they've worked with you before, they'll be able to actually take the advice and cater it to you because they already know your situation. A team of trusted and reputable professionals is going to be your biggest asset because they're going to help you sift through the noise and get to the bottom about whether or not something is actually relevant to you.
Okay, we hope that helps next time you enter into the wild, wild west, aka Facebook or YouTube. And if you made it this far, we would so appreciate a like on the video and a comment to let us know what other content you might like to see.
And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure you hit subscribe and follow us on Instagram. Links will be in the description below.